And even though my dad is the villain in that love story, that's the parent I'm actually closest to. Me and my dad get along great. And oddly enough, me and my mom don't get along all that well. I haven't talked to my mom that much in like 4 years.
I'm just trying to wrap my brain around it. He just said that his daddy was the villain in that story, but him and his dad are close. So you forgave your dad for being the villain, but not your mom.
I can't prove it yet, but my 20-year-old son hates me, and I don't even think he realizes it.
I just want to know to the men, when you hear that type of stuff, how can you forgive your father?
The parent that has done the absolute least, sacrificed the absolute least, is the one my son gives his best to.
It's so funny watching people that I used to find, to be entertaining or intelligent or funny or, whatever combination of those things. Like, as I've grown, start to realize like they're not funny or they're not as intelligent as I thought they were. Um, and which makes them less entertaining. But this is like the poster child for that in my mind because I used to think this dude was like really funny, you know. And he still says funny stuff, don't get me wrong. And I got a feeling when I share this video, I think a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, I think he's funny. Because he says stuff sometimes when you're like, damn, that's true. Even in here, he said stuff that was like he kind of, it's like you can see he gets it somewhat, but I don't know. He said he just proves to you that he's just like a normal dude at the end of the day, right? But anyways, um, this his story and this whole topic that we're going to discuss is very common. It's very common amongst boys who grow up to be men, raised by their mothers, right? This is the old, tale as old as time at this point. Um, you resent your mother, but you forgive your father. You resent your mother, but you give your father all the grace. Your mother was terrible, but you patch things up with your father now. Now you can be cool with your dad, right? This is this is that. So trigger warning to anybody going through this, especially the mothers that are going through this that can feel this because you're going to see in here that it's a woman is going to give her side of the story. But yeah, that's this, and it's we need to talk about this more. We definitely need to talk about this more.
I didn't know my parents' relationship was inappropriate. How much do you know about your parents growing up? They don't tell us shit about them. Most of us don't know their real name until we like 14. So I didn't know how young my mom was. I found out how young my mom was once her and my dad split and she wanted to date again. She was like, Ryan, how do y'all date nowadays? I was like, well, we use dating apps. She was like, can you put me on the dating app? I was like, sure. And when I put her on the dating app, she kept popping up on my shit. I didn't know we were that close in age. I was like, I gotta change my settings. It's like, damn, were there signs that my mom was this fucking young? And it was, now that I think about it. She didn't like the same things my friends' parents liked. My friends' parents was going to concerts to see Frankie Beverly and Maze and Keith Sweat. I remember my mom tucking us in early, 5 p.m. Because she was in a hurry to go see Outkast. True story. And she would ask my dad to go with her, and he'd be like, don't nobody want to hear that hippity hop bullshit. It's like, you niggas ain't the same age. Ain't no way.
So we have an age gap, relationship. Your mom probably was a victim. She was probably preyed upon by your father. It's almost like he gets it, right? He's making fun of it, but it's almost like he gets it, right? And so you're listening to it and you're like, all right, where is it gonna go from here? Where is it gonna go from here? Because I'm listening to him and I'm like, it would I would think the jokes would lead us to a place where he critiques his father for being with his mother who was significantly younger than him, right? That's what I would think. That would be the natural place to go. I would be wrong.
And even though my dad is the villain in that love story, that's the parent I'm actually closest to. Me and my dad get along great. And oddly enough, me and my mom don't get along all that well. I haven't talked to my mom that much in like 4 years. You see that? You hear that sound, non-black people? That's the sound of judgment. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but in the black community, there's no excuse not to talk to your mother. You see I'm shaking their head? That's right. Taking her side. They don't even know what the fuck happened. How you know she ain't try to kill me? Nigga, you couldn't even wait. And even then, they like, but it's your mama, nigga. I get it. That's cultural. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is these new people we have in society. Have y'all noticed how people just want to be victims now? You ever try to tell somebody some shit you going through, and instead of sympathizing with you, they try to one-up your story with some pain of theirs? I told a dude I ain't talked to my mom for 4 years. I thought he was gonna react like y'all. This nigga gonna say, well, you think that's something?
So we don't know what his mom did to him. His mama obviously didn't try to kill him, but we don't know what she did to him, right? I'm just saying, I'm just trying to wrap my brain around it. He just said that his daddy was the villain in that story, but him and his dad are close. So you forgave your dad for being the villain, but not your mom. You forgave your dad for being the villain, but not your mom. The rest of the joke, he doesn't even address. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he just breezed past that part. Like, what the fuck? What the hell? This is crazy. But it's a tale as old as time. And he tried to shame the people in the audience because to me, and he's a comedian, don't get me wrong, but like, I get it. It's like, you ain't got no reason not to be cool with your mom. I don't feel like that. I'm not one of those black people. Fuck, they be like, fuck them kids, fuck them parents. Right? If them parents did wrong by you and they don't want to, they don't want to take accountability, fuck them. Fuck them. Right? Distance yourself appropriately. Do what you got to do to protect your peace. I'm for it. You don't owe your parents as a child. You don't owe them. You don't need, if being around them is causing you to suffer, you don't owe them that. That's the best way I could put it. I don't care. You don't owe them that. Flip it around, you owe your kids everything still, even when they're, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, whatever. You owe your kids. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't look at it the same way, for both parties. If you're the child in the situation, I don't care what age you are. If you're the child in the situation and your parents have wronged you, fuck them. Fuck them. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just curious as to how you can forgive your father, but not your mother. What's going on there? And that was, to me, that was the groan. As soon as he said, "Oh, I'm really close with my dad, who was the villain, but I'm not close with my mom." Yeah, of course. You trying to shame the crowd because they put two and two together. Like, that's odd. Especially the mothers, they know. They know, man. Giving your daddy grace and not giving your mama grace is just diabolical in my book. It's just diabolical. And I've done it before. I gave my daddy grace for 30 years and took everything out on my mama. I literally never blamed my dad for anything until I was in my 20s. Like mid to late 20s is when I really started to piece stuff together. Now, mind you, I had found stuff out as I got older. And by that time, I pretty much knew everything that he had done for the most part. Like I had enough information to know. And by then, that was when I started to really distance myself from him. Like, yeah, this motherfucker crazy. This motherfucker stupid. But it was also what he did to me directly as I became an adult that pushed me away. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even like I really was on some like, damn, this motherfucker did my mama wrong. Damn, this motherfucker did my brother wrong. Damn, this motherfucker did my sister wrong. It was, damn, he did me wrong directly at that time. And that's when I started to distance myself. But I would give my dad time. I would give him chance after chance after chance to be in my life or whatever and not be mad at him. But my mom, not so much. Not so much. And then I started to get older and I started to mature. And then when I had my own kids, I really started to see what my mom had went through. And I tried to put myself in her position and was like, if I were, she had me when she was 25 years old, right? If I were 25 years old, by the time I hit 30, 31, I'm with an abusive man. He cheated on me. He did worse than that. Um, every man that I've been with thus far have done me terribly. I'm 31 years old. I got 3 small children, right? I got a 5, not small, but I got a 5 and 11 and I got a 5 and 11 and a 14-year-old, right? That I'm taking care of. I'm all on my own. I'm in the projects. I'm getting no financial support, no emotional support. No, like you start to piece things together as an adult. When I look at my mom, I'm like, okay, like that is fucking incredible. Like I would break if that were me. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't even blame her for a lot of the stuff that, like, she was literally just trying to hold it together so that she could like support us, me and my brother and my sister financially, if anything else. She just she was just trying to make sure that she could keep a roof over our heads, food on the table. I could play the sports I needed to play. I could dress the way I wanted to dress. Like she wanted to make sure she was like, I could give him that. I can't give him me emotionally, but I can give him that. I can give my babies money, da 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 da. Could she have tried harder to give me the most? Yes, yes, yes. And that's why I'll hold her accountable on that end. And she'll hold herself accountable on that. But that's the part, right? But my dad, terrible, terrible, no excuses. The worst person on the planet, did the most egregious things. And I forgave him. And I was like, nah, fuck. As I got older, I said, wait. And to make it worse, everything that my mom went through, it was connected to my dad. Like it was some shit that my dad did to her, or even another man did to her. But it was all connected to these men. And I'm like, when am I gonna give this woman some grace? When am I gonna stop, you know what I'm saying? Holding her to the same standard that I'm holding these abusive ass men to. You know what I mean? And that changed my perception of my mom. And it helped me heal a little bit. And it helped me to, you know what I'm saying, to forgive her a lot. And I do, and I did. And I turned my negative attention and ire, I focused it on my father and on the men that did my mom wrong. And that's why I feel like it needed to be. And that's why I feel like it needs to be. Right?
I can't prove it yet, but my 20-year-old son hates me. And I don't even think he realizes it yet. I want to talk about it. Before I get into it, though, I do want to acknowledge that I actually understand why that might be the case. I sincerely do. I was a young mother. I got pregnant in high school. And soon after, I realized very quickly that this was going to be my responsibility and my responsibility only. Although it took many years and constant reminders for me to accept that, I have to be honest when I say that I resented it. I hated it, and I was.
This is what I'm saying about my mom. This is what I wasn't able to process when I was 20 years old. That she had a lot of resentment and she had a lot of anger towards the men, not me and not my brother and not my sister. But of course, naturally, when you're in that desperate of a situation, it is going to bleed over into the relationships you have with your children. Of course. And that's the part where I'm like, I can hold my mom somewhat accountable and be like, you should have tried harder to, because I would be telling her, my brother would be telling her how we felt, how it was affecting us. We were very vocal about it. And she just like wouldn't listen. That's, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the part like I can, cool, right? Like, cool, I get it. Like she should have listened. Yep, she should have listened. Yep, right? That's the hold women accountable. I'm holding the women accountable. You got it? You hear me? Cool. I'm holding my mom accountable. Yep. We hear it. Ah, damn. But that was connected to how the men had done her. That if those men hadn't done that to my mom wouldn't have acted like wouldn't have acted like that. That's all I'm saying. Simple as that. But at 20 years old, at 10 years old, at 15 years old, I ain't want to hear that. I just knew it was. And here's the thing, because I just got done talking about this with one of my close folks. Impact over intent. That wasn't her intention. She didn't do it in a malicious way. She didn't hate me or hate my brother or she didn't hate us. She loved us. But the impact of it was felt nonetheless. And you have to be somewhat responsible for that, no matter what the situation is, no matter what.
Mad as hell about it. My son was in the 7th grade when I had my first mental breakdown that landed me in the hospital. And before then, I was sitting outside of our apartment in my car, screaming to the top of my lungs at this man, just trying to convince him that our child is different. And not only does he need you to be better for him, I need your help. He needed so much that I just couldn't afford on my own. And I remember calling my son's father, and the conversation ended with him basically straight up saying, almost word for word, that if you ever expect me to be the type of nigga that's gonna be sending you this and sending you that for him, then you gonna have to die waiting.
I just want to know, to the men, when you hear that type of stuff, how can you forgive your father? Again, I can understand my mom's behavior. It wasn't malicious. It was a reaction to being treated maliciously. What the fuck is his excuse? You see what I'm saying? How can you forgive this behavior? You're a parent now, especially you got kids. You would do this to your child. You can wrap your brain around this, like, yeah, man, I could see myself not financially supporting my kids and making the mom just struggle. Yeah, I could see that. Crazy.
And he was right. But here I am, busting my ass, just trying to make ends meet. And I have this young boy child essentially crying out for his father by way of doing everything he can to make our life harder so that he could get to him. Because you know how even in 2-parent homes, when you need your kid to straighten up, you'd be like, I'm going to tell your dad, I'm going to get your dad, I'm going to send you to live with his dad. And low key, that's what my son wanted. Here I am, overworked, overstimulated, busting my ass to take care of a kid who all he's thinking about is his father.
I did that. I went to go live with my dad in the 7th grade and he went to jail. He got locked up. He lost his job, went down to a county building, threatened a woman with a bomb, like to blow her up or some crazy shit like that, went to jail and left his 12-year-old son all alone in an apartment in a city that he didn't live in, didn't have any friends or family in. and was so selfish. He told me, don't tell my mom, trying to protect himself. These men can't take care of their kids, man. The vast majority of the time. Just to the sons of if y'all got any trouble with your kids, with your sons, and he acting like this, show him this video. I want to let me talk to him, because I'm telling them I was there. Your mama is your best chance. 90%. I ain't saying there ain't no man out there, because I saw it. My cousin went to go live with his daddy. His daddy took care of him, right? His daddy raised him right. Whatever. I seen it a few times. I wouldn't bank on it, though. I wouldn't bank on it. I wouldn't bank on your daddy being in a better situation for you at all.
And not only is he watching me be angry about it and be mean about it, I just remember that time in my life, I was just silent, mad but silent. And not only that, he actively, as he gets older, hears and sees me comparing him to his dad, who he knows I don't like. So I personally can understand how that dynamic could create this kind of tension. At the same time, I can acknowledge that I don't deserve this. I never deserved that.
I almost guarantee you, if his daddy talked to him, his daddy gonna blame the mama and be like, man, your mama did. I mean, she didn't want me to see. He gonna say something. He gonna blame her. I guarantee. One thing again, I'm sorry to, I don't want to make it personal, but I'm being real because I really can relate to this. My daddy never blamed my mama for shit. That's the one good thing I will say about my father, is he never blamed my mama for any fucking thing that happened. He never blamed her for that shit. I'm talking about to me. He never blamed her to me. He was all, your mom is the best. Oh, I love Peaches. She the best. She raised you so good. Look at the type of person you become. He always gave her flowers. Even if he didn't mean it. I don't know if he meant it or not. But he never, ever, ever, ever did that shit. So that's one thing I will say. But I wouldn't doubt this nigga daddy would do that shit. He might tell him like, yeah, it was your mama fault. That's all. If he do that, it's gonna push him over the edge. He gonna hate this woman forever.
Not the lashing out as a child, all the way to his apathy as a young adult. I don't deserve that. But you know who gets my son's respect and grace? Yeah. If you guessed him, you're right. Anytime my son got expelled or suspended from school and I had to make his father take him, not a peep. Damn near a straight A student. But me? To be honest, the last 20 years have been full of fuck yous from them both. And regardless to how it looks, I'm over it. Y'all, this mascara sucks. I don't know what brand this is, but y'all need to get better. This is a brand new mascara, and I have literally put it on like 10 times. But anyway, I'm making this video essentially for myself. Usually I delete videos like this. As a millennial, I have always aired out my things online, and it always helps. So I know this video is going to help, but I usually delete it. But I'm not this time because I need this reminder. I need this reminder, like, not only did I do everything I could, I was the only one doing anything, you know? And the way my son walks around looking homeless and unloved and not giving a fuck about life, you would think that I abandoned him too. But I didn't. But that's neither here nor there. I'm ready for this new chapter in life. Like I said, I'm headed to campus, studying for the CFP board. And I've already lost 6 days staying in the house in bed, wondering if my son is going to act like this with me. Like, I just feel like, why did I do all of that? Like, why did I do all of it if the result is the same, if not worse? The parent that has done the absolute least, sacrificed the absolute least, is the one my son gives his best to. And it's been that way since he was 2 years old.
If you flipped it around, I guarantee you, this is the theory. If you flipped it around, it wouldn't happen. Not with a boy, maybe with a girl, maybe, but not with a boy. If a man raised his son, I don't care what that man did to his son when he raised him, just that he was he was the custodial parent, and the mother wasn't involved. Shit, the mother could be involved. It don't matter. He gonna give all the praises to the father. I've seen men. I've talked to men who I'll ask them straight up, "Who were you raised by? Who raised you?" And they'll go, both parents. And I go, okay. So you had a mom and a dad in the house, let's say. They'll go, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I start really breaking it down, right? Who cooked for you more? Who cooked most of your meals? Do you know that those men who say that, sometimes they say they're honest and they go, my mom. Like, I start running off everything. Who did most of your homework with you? My mom. Who took you to my mom? Who talked to you? My mom. And I'll be like, well, it sounds like your mom raised you. Right. Right. Like, I'm trying to show him the point. Like, even though your dad was in the house, he was not as present as your mother was. He didn't sacrifice like your mom did. You know what I'm saying? That's really the whole point. And, but they trying to lie and they want to make a point, but they mostly want to defend their dads. But do you know that half of those men will just outright lie and be like, but actually, like, I've heard men literally start off being like my mom, and they'll be like, well, no, actually, my dad cooked more than my mom. My dad spent more time with me than my mom. Stop lying. Stop lying, bro. They go out of their way to protect their fathers. They go out of their way to protect men. And here's why I believe a lot of those men, one of two things, if not a combination. A, they know they are going to be just like their daddies. Number one. Number two, they are just like their daddies. That's what I believe. So the truth of the matter is she was a parent that stayed. This is the story of the parent that stayed and being punished for the crimes of the parent that left. But it's even deeper than that, because again, I don't think that a man would be saying this about his father. I don't think a man would be saying this about his mother had his father raised him. It's the patriarchy playing out. And you see how it affects us in our interpersonal relationships, even with our own parents. This woman, I totally believe she does not deserve this. 99% of mothers don't deserve this. And I'm sorry to have contributed to this as a son, even though I was a child. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I know that I was a child, 20 years old. He has a brain of a child. Hopefully he gets it together. Hopefully he matures. Hopefully he figures it out. We'll see. We'll see. But in the meantime, though, the mother is suffering, the child is suffering, and the dad is scot fucking free, living his best life.